When you picture a spider, what do you see? Probably a lonely hunter, right? An eight-legged loner building a web all by itself. Well, what if I told you that's not the whole story? Today, we're diving into some wild discoveries that are going to completely flip that idea on its head.
All right, so let's start with the official rulebook. This is the baseline, what defines pretty much all of the 45,000 spider species we know about. The Entomological Society of Aragon says it plain and simple. Spiders are not social animals. They're kind of the ultimate introverts of the natural world.
But what if that fundamental rule has some absolutely spectacular exceptions? Because that, as you're about to see, is where things get really, really weird.
So let's just ground ourselves in the classic model. This is your standard issue spider. Every single part of it, from its fangs right down to its silk-spinning spinnerets, is perfectly engineered for a life of solo survival. This is the blueprint for a lone predator.
Okay, now that we know the rules, let's meet our first rule breaker. And it's such a huge anomaly that it really forces us to rethink what a spider can even be. Say hello to Anelosimus eximius. You find these guys from Panama all the way down to Argentina, and they don't just put up with their neighbors, they build entire societies with them. I'm talking massive colonies, sometimes thousands of them living in one gigantic web. They share everything from taking care of the babies to, and this is the amazing part, hunting as a pack.
And all that cooperation has a massive payoff. See, a lone spider can only catch bugs that are about its own size, but an army of Anelosimus eximius, they can swarm and take down prey way bigger than any one of them could ever dream of, giving the whole colony a huge food surplus.
And this isn't just a chaotic mob either. Research has actually shown that there's a sweet spot. The most effective, most efficient hunting colonies have right around 1,000 spiders. It's a calculated, super effective social strategy that turns these little arachnids into a force to be reckoned with. So just when you're getting comfortable with the idea of social spiders, nature decides to throw in a plot twist that is straight out of a horror movie. Because, well, living in a big society makes you a pretty tempting target for some very creepy enemies. So check out how this nightmare unfolds. A parasitoid wasp finds one of these social spiders and lays an egg on it. The larva hatches, latches on, and starts sipping the spider's blood while pumping it full of chemicals that hijacks its brain. This zombified spider is then forced to leave its colony, wander off by itself, and weave this crazy, super durable web, which is actually a cocoon for the wasp larva. As soon as the nursery is built, the larva eats the spider and a new wasp pops out. It is absolutely terrifying. Okay, a single species of social spider is wild enough. But what we're about to explore is on a whole different level. It's a discovery from deep inside a remote cave that scientists are literally calling an arachnid megacity. Our story now goes deep underground, to Sulphur's Cave, this toxic, sprawling cave system right on the border between Greece and Albania. Back in 2022, some recreational cavers were exploring and stumbled onto something so bizarre, they knew they had to call in the scientists. What they found was a single, absolutely colossal web covering the cave walls. This shimmering sheet of silk was stretched over an area of more than 100 square meters. To put that in perspective, that's bigger than a lot of city apartments. And living in this silk metropolis was a mind-boggling number of spiders. Scientists estimated over 111,000 of them. But here's the part that really broke everyone's brain. They weren't all the same species. It was a bustling city made up of two totally different kinds of spiders, just living together. And this is the central mystery, right? Because both of these species are common spiders you could literally find in your own house. And out here, on the surface, they are 100% solitary. So how on earth did two different loner species team up to build a cooperative megacity inside a toxic cave? Well, the answer isn't in the spiders themselves. It's in the cave's strange and unique ecosystem, an engine that runs on a completely different kind of fuel than we're used to. To get this, you gotta know this word, chemoautotrophy. Up here on the surface, almost all life is powered by the sun through photosynthesis. But deep down in this cave, life is powered by chemical reactions, specifically by microbes that eat toxic stuff like hydrogen sulfide. So here's how the whole food chain works. First, microbes chow down on the hydrogen sulfide that's bubbling up from the cave's water, and they form these thick, slimy mats.
Then, massive swarms of insects come and graze on those microbe mats. And finally, this creates a non-stop 24/7 all-you-can-eat buffet for the spiders. They have a literally endless supply of food.
What this means is the spider's social behavior isn't actually hardwired into their genes. It's what scientists call facultative coloniality, which is just a fancy way of saying they've chosen to be social because the environment makes it the smart move. When you've got that much food and no predators, why waste energy fighting over territory? It just makes more sense to live together.
But this discovery isn't just a quirky little behavior change. It's like we've been given a front row seat to watch how life adapts and actually evolves in the most extreme places on our planet.
And the genetic proof is there. These cave spiders are now officially distinct from their cousins up on the surface. They are totally cut off, no genetic mixing happening at all. And all those generations living in this unique cave have already started to rewrite their DNA and even change the kinds of microbes that live in their guts. They're on their own evolutionary path. And they've even worked out how to live together by splitting up the jobs. The bigger species, Tageniaria domestica, they're the architects. They build and maintain the massive web structure. And the smaller Prenoragovagans, they're basically the tenants. They just move in and live peacefully right alongside the builders, sharing the space and all that glorious food.
There's this quote from Science Alert that just says it all, really. Even in the darkest, most toxic corners of the planet, life finds a way. Sometimes it even weaves a web. In one of the most hostile places you can imagine, life didn't just survive, it built a city.
All of this leaves you with one last huge question. From spider armies to these multi-species megacities, these arachnids have completely shattered our expectations. And it just makes you wonder, what other rules of nature are being broken right now, in all the dark, unexplored places we haven't even found yet?